Welcome, welcome. Welcome to another leader versus. This time we're going to have the Moog Minitaur on the gambit here. This is an awesome synthesizer. So every time I come back and bust this thing out, I'm always reminded just how much low end this thing absolutely has, and it's insane. It's really built to just drive that low end. So much so that Moog actually, I can't remember the official response, but Moog kind of crippled it a little bit. They restricted it. I think it had to do something with like power issues or something like that. But essentially, you can only go so far up the octave range on this. I believe it's like, let's see, I think it's like just one step above middle C. Yeah. So, anyways, the idea they limited how big it could be, how much it could track across the keyboard, and the reality is it's just built for bass. It's what it's all about. You get two oscillators, very simple waveforms, if I remember right. Yeah, you just get either a saw or a square, and you get obviously Moog's classic filter. You do get full envelopes for each the filter and the amp envelope. They kind of reduced it, I guess, for size and everything, so that you have to engage this button here to then affect the release separately from the decay. If you keep it here, then the decay is the only thing that this knob will affect, but if you hit that button, now you're controlling the release. This, of course, is, this front panel here is essentially just like a MIDI controller, because as you change these buttons, now that parameter that it was before the decay is no longer being touched, but you do have to either set it so that when you move the knob it does nothing until you pass the new parameter, which I think they call as a catch, or I forget, or you have jump, which the idea is if you say you had the decay set to low, but say your release was wide open and then you moved it just a little bit here, that parameter would jump down to where the knob is there. You can set that in the under the hood settings, but essentially they did save space by chopping one of those out and creating that. God, I wish they could have. Here's my man, Moog. If anybody from Moog, which I know got bought out and is now owned by In Music, if you are listening, build the Minitaur XL or the Maxitar. If you look right here to the left, I have also the editing software. This gets you access to the behind the scene buttons. You can also see on the front here I've created a bunch of little links, because eventually Moog, I think they just realized people were tired of grabbing onto the software, and also software doesn't last forever. So they did create some ways to get to the under the hood settings by holding this button sort of like a function, which I have labeled here. If you hold this down and then wiggle these knobs or affect these buttons here, then you get a different, it's like another layer of control. They still didn't include everything, which is a bummer, but they got most everything. Anyway, you can see I have this up here on the left. That is all of the settings that you have control over. Oh wow, my mouse is doing two things. I see. That's interesting. Okay. I've never recorded my screen like this before, so now I'm realizing my mouse that I'm controlling is a little different. And anyway, we have this other one here, and this is what the Maxitar or the Minitaur XL should look like. Maybe this up top, or maybe put a screen where the Moog is. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here, but man, if they would release that, it's my only complaint about this thing, is that you just have to use them. You can get around with a lot of the stuff, but honestly, saving presets, I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable. I always reach for the software, which is one of the reasons I don't use this as much, because I tend to be away from the computer when I'm making music until I get to that final stage. So anyway, I have my digitone over here. You can't see it, but it is off screen. That is what is sequencing this here, and I'm going to bring that back into the digitone in case I want to add any effects, so we can kind of make some of these presets we're going to make sparkle. But back to just kind of overall, yeah, we had two oscillators, saw and a square. We have a beautiful Moog filter, very, very nice. I feel like I remember them saying they tweaked a little bit differently than the Little Fatty, so it's got a little bit more of a bass resonance response. However, the resonance, like any kind of Moog style filter, once you engage that thing, you just cut the legs off that bass almost entirely. So it's something you have to use delicately if you want to use it for a bass sound, but if you're going to use it for like a mid-range, maybe, I don't know, lead, rhythm, something, you can use it a little bit more liberally. But For now, we're going to leave it where it is. So, all right, I mean, for now, I'm probably not going to use much of it. So beyond that, you also have a small modulation section. You do have one LFO, and it does have a whole bunch of, much more than it originally did. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 6, well, 5 waves, and then one. You can see here it says filter EG. Oh, I got it. So you're actually using the filter amp envelope or envelope generator, filter envelope or envelope generator over here. And those can be all controlled or accessed by holding this glide button and rotating this. The problem is you have to use your ears. I don't have a thing that denotes which one you're landing on. Maybe I could do that. But if you look over in the software, you can see all 6 shapes. You have a triangle, you have a square, you have a saw, you have a reverse saw, and you have a sample and hold or random, if you will. Beyond that, it's pretty basic. You obviously get things like note sync. You do get hard sync, which is nice. So if you have the second oscillator doing maybe a little bit slower, detuned too much or something like that, and like they're, the idea is that it brings that second oscillator's waveform back to 0 whenever the first one gets engaged again. So they call that hard sync. That it gives you a particular sound. We can play with that too. Beyond that, it's not much. You're kind of mixing input. You can do an external input. I don't really do that much. For a long time, I had a Moog Foger low-pass filter, which I believe is very similar, and I use that. So this is nice. One of the reasons I sold that is I realized I have, between the Slim Fatty and the Minitaur, I do have access to a Moog filter that I can use, but I just never have. So say what you will about that. Anyways, resonance, EG amount, so that is the envelope generator amount. Keyboard tracking, velocity sensitivity, that is nice. You cannot access that one without the software, so that's a bit of a bummer. And then we have pitch bend. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty much standard. Here's the VCA also has velocity sensitivity, which is also nice. But again, as far as I know, unless I missed something, you cannot access that from the panel regardless, even if you use the function buttons. And that's it. Oh, you have a glide section here too. So it's a pretty relatively basic monosynth. And it's doesn't have any bells and whistles that would make you go, wow, I really got to have that. But the sound is where it's at. Moog just has a sound, and it's very different. I remember how naive I was when I first got into synthesis, or maybe even before I got into it, when people would talk about the tone and character of different synthesizers. And I had taken a class in college called The Science of Sound, and I was in my head like, it's all just frequencies and all this stuff, but I realized I was very stupid. There's a uniqueness to this synth, and Moog in general, but even this one itself has a nice big full body bottom there. It is just impressive. So let's... So lovely. So I'm going to play a little bit just so the raw oscillators, you can hear some of this stuff here. So make sure the LFO is all the way down. We don't want any of that in there. I'm going to turn VCO2 level all the way down. So we're just getting a single oscillator. We're going to start with a saw. You can see these lights, what they do is they denote off, meaning saw, square is when it's lit up. And so this can go back, well, we can leave that where it is. We don't need that. That is the VCO2 frequency, so you basically can have an octave up or octave below or anywhere in between to get the kind of real raunchy detuned sounds. I generally leave it below because well, you'll hear. I find the second oscillator being on top of it, the first one doesn't really work as well. That's pretty low. I must have some glide on. I do. I don't really care for. I don't think I have glide on the front here. Why not? So there's another thing that I don't see, unless I'm just missing it. No. See, so, oh, glide rate, here it is. Okay, the function button took over. So here it is. Okay, I had that up. All right, let's try this again. To me, the saw by itself, it's almost so high-end saturation there that just loses. Oh, subtlety, man. Woo. Oh, such a buzz. Okay, so that's that one by itself. Let's hear with the square wave. There's the beef. Yeah, that's nice. So I oftentimes will honestly pair these. So just to give you an idea, what we're going to do here is we're going to bring that saw wave for the second oscillator. Since you can see it here, I'm going to turn the volume up. I did crank it up an octave higher. I think I got some delay on something going on here. Let's see. I was messing about before I started. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Frequency 2. Oh, what is this? There it is. Maybe that wasn't set. It looked like it was. Note sync. Oh, here's the hard sync. We'll go to that later. I don't want to bring that in too early. So generally, I'm going to usually pick the square wave as the bottom. And you can see here, I crank the VCO2, what do they call this? The frequency, of course, down. So now the second waveform, which is the square, is sitting an octave below the saw. And to me, gives it so much. Here, let's just hear what two saws sound like. Even that sounds better. Like if I put them back into the center, let's see, right about there. It's actually better. Man, just the one by itself is almost too much. Oh, that's where it's at. Listen to that. Let's make a patch. All right, we're going to start off with just like probably something kind of simple. I'm going to create a new pattern here. Let's see, I'm just going to make something simple here to start off with. So let's get our click going, make sure we're in time. Oh, what happened there? Oh, sorry. Let's go to machine. We got to turn this to a MIDI. I thought, you know what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take this pattern, copy it over, and then clear that out. Okay. Don't know why that didn't come over. Did I do something wrong? Oh, okay. Strange. Okay, we are on pattern 2. Let's just make a little simple line here. Got a little kick drum in there that I forgot about. 2, 3, 4. That's awful. I didn't realize I had 4 steps. I don't know what's going on here. Oh god, I keep switching tracks. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, that's what's going on. I have these set up. Okay, so these need to be opened up. Sorry, okay, now we got it. Now we're good. Turn that down. I actually, you can't see it, it's off the side. I have the Electron Digitone 2. I have some CC values set up and they were taken over. So now we're good. Bring down that tempo. That was way too fast. Let's try 150. Something simple. Do a little quantize on that. does have it on there. Sounds horrible though. What's going on there? That's why. Let's just copy paste that. Okay. And I'm gonna fight with these guys a bit. Okay, we're taking down a little bit of the filter. I'm gonna show you what happens when you engage that resonance. Hear that bass just melting away. But sometimes, you know, a little acid or something like that sounds pretty good. We're gonna bring it back in the middle. Let's turn that this guy off. Just the synth. Alright. Jeez, is my timing off that much? Sure is. There we go. My gosh. What am I going to do from here? Okay. I'm using the electron here because if I don't change it on the electron for the two values I have set, the frequency and the resonance, it will revert back to them. Alright, we got a nice little bit going on there. I'm going to say EG now. I'm going to bring this up. Bring the cutoff back down. By bringing the EG up, we're now instructing the amp envelope, I'm sorry, the filter envelope here to control the cutoff. So I'm actually going to bring this cutoff quite low. Crank the EG amount. You can hear we're kind of getting a middle ground there, but now we can control more of this filter with the envelope generator over here. There we go. Nice little flappy bass. I'm going to leave the release off. We don't need it right now. What are we going to do now? So I do have... That sounds kind of good. Maybe I'll keep the double square going on here. Bring down the EG a little bit. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to do is give a little bit of liveliness by creating a little bit of movement in that VCF, the filter. Let's hear what a lot's going to sound like. Cool, now I'm going to start messing with the sequence a little bit to get this little something fun. Oh, I did it again. So I'll mess with the filter. So having a sequencer obviously makes this really fun because then you can do things like pop open that filter on just one step, maybe a little resonance. Yeah. Let's change the note value on this. It's going to be kind of wonky, but let's see what we get. Bring down the cutoff on that one. And that one too. Let's try the time a little faster. Take this down to just the 32 steps. Oh, we get all of our fun little tricks over here. We get two LFOs. Well, I'm not going to mess the LFO in here because we still have this one here. Let's hear what it just sounds like for fun to have it go to the oscillator. That's no good. Alright, let's see what we got under the hood. We can try... Let's try the hard sync just for fun. Yeah, no. bit brightness on the top higher notes, just a tiny bit though, since they're still in the same octave. Just gonna add this kick in there to kind of give us a little. Where's my overdrive? There it is. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I wish I had some, you know what, let's go crazy with this. Let's just go crazy with this. I want to hear what this thing really sounds like. I'm going to get something really cruising fast. Pretty simple one. I'm going to go ahead and save it. It is a nice little, you know, floppy, but not too bad. That's okay. It's not a great, huge patch, but it's one of those ones that will, like, fit really well in a song if you're not really trying to make a big old, giant, in-your-face bass that's going to take away a lot of that stuff. Let's go. Nice. Indeed. Thank you for joining. Alright, I'm going to jump in. Let's try something a little different now. I'm going to save this. Oh boy, let's see if I can remember how to do that. Let's see, save as, we call this one YT1. My hopes is to start turning these into some sound packs to share with you guys. Alright. Oh, I got some old user samples in here, but let's just go back to the initialized patch. Let's see what that sounds like just on this. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of these though, because that will probably have some CC automation. Come back here. Sorry, this is all off screen. Just have to bear with me here for a second. That does not sound like an initialized patch. This one. That's better. Ooh, man. That's just the initial patch. Although I'm not sure that is either. It's not synchronized. Oh, I guess something's happened here. It's needing to retrieve the presets. Let's open this up real nice and bright. Okay, what should we mess with here? Oh, no way, I'm 700. Oh, dude. Well, awesome. Thanks, Kevin. I didn't realize I was hitting that 698 for a few days. I was kind of like, oh, it's going to happen hopefully eventually, but I'm not going to stare at it anymore, but because I did stare at it a lot. 700, thank you. Cheers, my friend, and I really appreciate it. Yes, that's great news. All right. So, back to Noise Madness. What can we do with this? You know, the thing is, unfortunately, being that the modulation only goes to the oscillators, the pitch, or the LFO, I'm sorry, or the filter, you're kind of stuck, you know, doing that. So what I might start off with is just to kind of get, let's get a little madness going with the filter. So without using the, oh good, we're back with the editor now. Well, let's just go here and keep it around, but we don't need it right now because I'm going to do what I can with just the front panels, holding down the newly annotated function button, formerly just glide, but now it's function if you hold it down. I'm going to switch this, and here's where I actually do need to look at the editor to see exactly. I need to mark those. I need to put something around there, but that right there is the, if you can see in the editor, it is the, here, I'll wiggle this just so you can kind of see the sample and hold, random, whatever you want to call it. So that is now our waveform for our low-pass filter. Let's go ahead and add it to the filter itself. I'm sorry, for our LFO, not our low-pass filter. Now we're adding it to the low-pass filter via this knob. There we go. Sounds like very bad popcorn, I guess. I mean, honestly, it sounds like flatulence. We're not gonna lie, right? It sounds like a bunch of farts happening very quickly. Let's mess around with that a little more. Make a little resonance. Is it getting smellier in here, or is it just me? Let's try a little, just for madness' sake, we're gonna put the oscillator value on for the LFO mount. Kind of get that classic. It's low. That's a little higher. That is the classic sample and hold. I mean, if you ever watched like a sci-fi movie from the 50s and the 60s, you know, especially low production ones, that meant sci-fi. Hey, look, it's a sci-fi sound. Okay, back to fast. Just going to use the filter so that we don't get that wackiness all together there. Now I'm going to bring in the second oscillator. I'm going to crank this one up high. Now, that's a little bit wonky. Let's just bring this down a little bit. Oh man, that is good. That's just some low, angry bass. Let's try now a little glide in here. Glide is on. Here we get for you full EG amount, some decay in there. That is just, that is dirty. Okay. I don't know where I'd use that essentially, or ever. I think I'd have to take more of that frequency out of there. So let's see. Maybe back this down to underneath. Ooh, that sounds nice. Now here's what I hope I find in here. Oh, please give me some delay on that LFO. I bet you it's there. pitch bend, glide. Where's my modulation? LFO, shape, and dang! Man, we did not get a delay on the LFO. I could have swore it had one. Strangely enough, we get a filter delay. I'm sorry, an envelope delay for the filter. Well, okay, we do have something else in here on the back end that we can really change that helps. Is I'm going to do VCO2 for the LFO only, meaning only the VCO, the voltage control oscillator number 2 will be affected. So you can hear that. Watch this if I turn this down. It's still there. Why is it? Oh, because, sorry, I need to do. So here, oscillator sounds just fine. I'll do. Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet. Switch from the random or sample and hold. Let's do something that's a little more traditional. Let's try square. Yeah, here we go. Now we're getting some fun stuff. That's cool. Oh yeah, take that down. Nah, too much. Now, by using a sequencer that actually has control over CC values, you can really take this to another level. For example, I can't modulate in any way the LFO rate, but obviously with my hand I can. But if you want to have that controlled, independently of you, you can set it up in one of these guys and sequence that, which is really awesome. You know, I might be able to pull that off super quick. Let's see, where did I do with the manual? Minitaur. Oh, that's the editor. I wish they just told you which CC it was in the and maybe they do in the editor, but I didn't see it. Okay, what were we looking for? We are looking for LFO control of the rate, and we are going to do, it's 3. Okay, CC3. I'm going to come over on, you can't see this of course, but I am over on my Electron Digitone 2 that's got a very fine MIDI sequencer built into it. Alright, let's hear what we got here. Too, but nah, we'll leave it. All right, let's just hear what this sounds like. I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Okay, what we got? Doom, doom. Ooh, my timing is bad. Okay. Society, and they took a while for him and his sister Bisco to eventually warm up to us, but now he's a snuggle boy. Aren't you, big guy? Come to say hi? Want to sit in my lap for a little bit? Alright. Nope, guess not. See you later. Probably just hungry. I don't know if I fed him dinner. Hopefully my wife is on that. Mess around with this little sequence here just for fun. Let's see, we got a machine. Just gonna do a quick little hi-hat here. Where's my hi-hats? Right there. There we go. Oh no, did I just take away that? Take away the kick drum. It's done the wrong. Dang it. That's a bummer. Alright. Let's try and get that kick drum back. A better one. Crazy. Looks like I ran away my few viewers. Anyway, that's something. I don't know what the hell that sound was, but it's still kind of fun to make. All right, I'm going to make one more. It gets so hot in this room. If I put the fan on, it gets just too noisy, so I have to sweat it out a bit. Hopefully winter will come and bring some nice cool breezes, which I'm sure it will. All right. Let's try one more. I don't know what to do. how about just a nice big drone? That's a good idea. A lot of people are into drones these days. So maybe we can make something that's, you know, we could eventually sample and turn into something with the old Toneverk. I would actually have been using the Toneverk instead of the Digitone, but the Toneverk is a bit of a hot mess right now. They've acknowledged it and they're working on it, which is awesome. And I very much look forward to using it when it's properly set up. They had some serious MIDI issues, including issues with the auto sampler, which is a big reason I purchased it. I wanted to start using it to do auto sampling while I'm creating these sounds and then sharing those. Anyway, it's not ready for prime time yet. I don't regret my purchase because I did put out a song I really liked, and I also think it is a fantastic instrument. And I 100% know that Electron is going to follow through. So I don't have any concerns about that. But that's why it's not here right now. It would totally be more of a center of the show, but it has to sit on the sidelines until it's ready for the big game. All right, let's save this thing. I don't know why, but let's go ahead and save it. Save as, we'll call this just awful. Oh, I gotta do YT. YT, just awful. Cool. All right. Let's bust back to a new sound. Preset manager, initialize. Oops. Still doesn't sound weird. There we go. Okay. Drone. So, first thing we know we're going to do, whoops, not song. I'm going to come over here and I am going to set the cutoff for now. And go to a new pattern. No, we'll leave it here. We're going to go ahead and mess with the amp envelope. So, we can have it come in slow. Yeah, that'd be nice. And we're going to bring the sustain up just shy of all the way. It's okay, we'll bring it up about halfway. And then we're going to bring the release, go back and catch it. That long. Maybe a little longer. Yeah. Just all the way up. See what it sounds like all the way up. Okay. These are analog controls. Take that back. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, the whole sound is analog. The entire pathway is analog of the sound of the audio signal. But I don't know if the envelopes are. They probably are. Yeah. Doesn't really matter though. Alright, we got a nice little drone thing going on here. Okay, I'm going to take away the second oscillator. This is something I love about analog. You can do it a lot with good digital synthesizers. They will emulate this, but you hear that phasing? Back in my very ignorant days when I first got my Moog Slim Fatty, I was like frustrated. I was like, why do these keep phasing in and out? Finally I looked at it and more like, that's the idea of analog. It's not perfect. Ooh, that sounds good. Alright, let's bring in the second oscillator because I feel like we need it. So just a little deeper. Here, let's do this hard sync real quick because I want you to hear. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the panel. Yeah. Now, if I could only have this as an automation destination, or as a modulation destination, let's see. Don't think I can, but man, that would be cool. Velocity, let's filter was modulation right there. Nope. That's a bummer. Yeah, that would have been cool to have the frequency and stuff. I mean, yeah, I get, you know, you're going to have, if you want to make drums and stuff, you're going to need the VCO oscillator. You're going to need the LFO to go to the VCO in order to, like, get those kind of sweeping pitch, you know, especially for, like, a kick drum and stuff. But I would have much preferred having that for the frequency. Alright, we're going to turn it off because we're not getting the beautiful phasing that I'm hoping for. Ooh, that would have been so cool. It is cool that I have the ability to sequence this via an external sequencer, but I just want to stay on this thing for right now. Man, that gets so phased right there. It almost sounds like I'm using a resonance. Wow. That's nice. Let's see how close I can get to it. Okay. Man, if I can only just get a little fine control over that. I want it to go real slow. That's as good as I can get. Alright, let's try some oscillation. Some LFO on the VCO2. As you can see, I'm using the back end here. Sorry, I just want to hear it. Alright, let's try a different LFO shape, see if maybe... Let's try that random again. Oh no, let's try the filter envelope. Okay, here we go. Reverb on the Digitone 2. Let's see what this sounds like. Make sure my reverb, I'm not going to send that much. I'm going to send about 100 out of 128. Let's go to my send effects page. We're going to do a nice big decay. Let's see what we got of this. Yeah, this is a tough synth to really go crazy sound design wise because it is very limited, but it does have a wonderful, wonderful sound. I wish I had been... Oh, I don't have the setup again? Darn. What's going on with this thing? No, it's all there. Why isn't it? I don't know if I don't know what's going on here all of a sudden. Man. BPM 0. What? I think my digitone just freaked out. Hold on, let me restart it. Yeah, that was an interesting bug. Told me I had BPM 300 while also being at BPM flat 0. I don't know. Yeah, the the digitone is not that old either, so the bugs, they are there, unfortunately. No way, it didn't save anything? Well, there's that. Dang, it really didn't save? Oh, it did, it's just... Okay, well, that's pretty much it for tonight. I think what I'll do in the future is probably focus on some more modern sounding synths and stuff like that. This is obviously a modern sounding synth too, but it just doesn't have enough to really go crazy with sound design, in my opinion. Could be just me, I'm limited. It could be I need to be better with it. I need to spend some more time with it. Getting them really wild bass sounds aren't really fitting in the styles of music I tend to make. I do like things to be glitchy and crazy, but I tend to do that more in the higher frequency. But for just like the good old bread and butter fat bass sounds, especially those delicious 80s, you know, just real nice thumping sounds, especially when you're driving, you know, we should do that real quick. Here. Page. Let's do a 16. This is going to be, oops, I guess that was a different page. Okay, let's do this. Get rid of that guy, get rid of that guy. Bring that up, that down, that down, that down, that open. Okay, open that. Down there. We've got a huge release on this right now, so I'm going to bring that down. Let's slow that down. 300, geez. Let's bring it down to like... There you go. Now you had some good old-fashioned 80s there. Let's bring this all the way down. That was kind of fun. There we go. I'm gone boasting, I've been feeling no way up and down. I know it's coming, but I'm gonna say it away now. Oh yeah, that could be so much fun. Alright, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for those who've joined. Looks like I got one joiner right now. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm gonna really start trying to make this more entertaining, but also offer more value. And once the tone verc from Electron is updated and I can start doing the auto sampling, I'm gonna start creating these patches while we play, and then I'm gonna sample them and then figure out ways to share those. Yeah. So I think that's a way to kind of bring some more interest into this and have some more fun. But the Moog Minitaur is a heck of a synthesizer, but it is kind of a more, I don't want to say it's utilitarian, it's not. You can squeeze some cool sounds out of here that are not necessarily bass focused, but to me it is fundamentally a bass sequencer, a bass synthesizer. Moog definitely agrees. Like we mentioned before, they cut off the ability to go up past the second C above middle C, so you don't get all those nice high frequencies. They did create something called the Siren. I think it was the Siren. Yeah, the Siren. And same exact form, has a different faceplate. I think it's got a bird and it's kind of silver with colorful stuff on there. It, I believe, is designed to be a full, spectrum synthesizer in terms of pitch. I don't think it's going to sound exactly like a Minitaur. I believe they went for a way to make it not sound like one. They're very hard to find nowadays. When it came out, I was like, no. Again, this thing, I love it and I will use it and continue to use it, but I would love if they would make the Maxitar or the Minitaur XL, put all those under the hood buttons. They could look just like this guy right here. Put a screen on it, call it a day. I will buy it. I'll give you $1,000 for it. That's a lot of money, I know, but I would, because this thing when it came out, I think it was like $6. I think I only paid $4 something for it. But still, just sell the Maxitar or Minitaur XL. Okay, anyway, thanks for hanging out. Next week, I hope to have something really exciting. I'm not sure what that is yet, only because I don't want to use it until the tone verc is ready, because I really would like to sample the sounds we make with that, because this next synthesizer has no ability to save presets. So I don't want to just make them and lose them. I'd like to make them and save the sounds. So if that works out, that will be next week. If not, I'll figure out something else. Till then, I hope you have a good week. And please keep an eye out for any videos that you might see that I'm dropping. Please subscribe and all that other stuff. So yeah, thank you.